So the four areas we're going to be covering today is search engine optimization, first impressions, making your site actionable, and cross-promotion within your Clubhouse Online websites. Okay. So search engine optimization, essentially all that really means is what you can do within your own websites is making it easy for search engines and prospective members to find your Clubhouse Online websites. So we'll go through a couple of things that you can do within the website configurations to help, again, with prospective members to find your website, and more importantly with the search engines to hopefully improve your result rankings when people are typing in keywords and finding your website. The very first thing you want to take a look at within your web pages is how you structure the pages themselves. And the first thing we want to talk about is header tags. So on your pages, when you're building them in the editor, when you have the editor pulled up, you want to ensure you're using the proper formatting for any of the text that you're outlining within the page itself. So I'm just going to toggle over into the editor here. And for example, on our golf page, as you structure your content, you want to ensure that you're using the proper heading styles. So selecting your text within the editor, and from a drop-down, we have a paragraph format drop-down. You want to select the appropriate header style between 1 to 6, so you've got different header styles. What this does, or what this allows the search engines to do, is really understand the information on your page and understand that these headings that you're selecting are important information. Heading 1 would be the most important header down to heading 6. Heading 1 you'd use for all the titles of your pages. When a search engine crawls through the page, it's going to take a look at the H1 tag or the header 1 tag and the text that you've selected, and it checks to see if that header is in relation to the page title itself. So is the information that's going to be in this page in relation to the name that you've assigned the page itself? So what Google is doing there is it's just really making sure that the results or the page itself is actually going to be talking about the topic that it mentions. You also want to take a look at the way you structure your wording within the pages themselves, or your keywords. With search engine optimization, or with SEO, when it was first brought upon the industry or brought to clubs' attentions, keywords was a main thing that a lot of marketing companies or a lot of search engine companies would kind of bring up, and they would tell you that you need to have a lot of keywords within your websites. The way that they first set these keywords up was in the back end of the page itself. So really what that meant is in the metadata or in the coding of the page, they would add a whole bunch of keywords within there. So they potentially would not actually be in the content of the page. They would be typing in these keywords in the back-end coding. So from a user's perspective, when they go on the page, they don't see these keywords. It's just the search engines, when they're going through the code, they can see these keywords in the metadata. A lot of times what happened was people would use a technique called keyword stuffing. So essentially they would just type in a whole bunch of keywords within the back end or coding of the page that wasn't even in relation to the page itself. So for example, on this golf page, they might put Mystic River tennis or different types of amenities that don't relate to golf itself. Well, search engines caught on to that, and they started penalizing websites that kind of use that technique, because the search engine wants to make sure that the page information is, again, in relation to the topic itself. So what they do now is they make sure that the content in the page actually contains those keywords. So you no longer really have to worry so much with the metadata keywords. You actually want to make sure the content within the page itself has those keywords built into it. So the text you're typing in, make sure you're using those keywords on the page itself. So on this golf page, you're going to make sure you have the keywords golf in there, the type of course that you have, where your locale is, so possibly your city, province, state, different types of features of the course, or the topic in relation to the page itself. Okay, so the next thing you want to do within your website pages is in regards to images. When you insert your images on your web page, it's not going to be as simple as just selecting the file from your computer, inserting it on your page, and then just leaving it as is. From a search engine standpoint, you want to ensure that you're adding some descriptive information along with the image, and what the search engines are really looking for is an alt tag. So essentially it's an alternative image tag that you would add onto the image itself. Reason for that is a search engine, it's a machine. It's not an actual person that's taking a look at your website. So they don't visually know that when taking a look at this amenities page, that the first image on the page is actually a picture of a couple holding golf clubs. It doesn't know that. It needs to look through the code for any information that you might tag on that image. So what you again need to do is add that alternate tag information. So within your editors, where you would do that is just on the image itself. You would select the image and you would get into the settings of the image, and in the alternate text field, you would type in your information. So again, being very descriptive of what the image is. For one purpose is from a search engine standpoint, so the search engine knows what the image is in relation to. But for second purposes, it's in regards to accessibility, especially for clubs that are in Canada or in Ontario. You want to ensure that if someone's accessing your website via an accessibility reader, that accessibility reader is actually going to take a look at this alternate text, and it's going to read that text back to the person that is accessing your website. So, for example, for someone that's visually impaired, they might use the accessibility reader to visit your website. The accessibility reader goes through the page, reads all the text, it hits an image, it takes a look if there's any alternate text information, and then it reads back what that alternate text verbiage you've typed in. Okay, so kind of a dual-purpose option there. You may have also noticed when you've gone on websites, potentially as you hover over an image, so I'm just kind of hovering over our second image here, you get some text that pops up, or they call it a tooltip. You have the ability to add that information in your Clubhouse Online websites. Not only does it enhance kind of the interaction a user may have when viewing your website, but adding in this tooltip information also actually adds the alternate text tag that search engines are looking for too. So this option is kind of a two-in-one feature. You get the tooltip that pops up, but it will also add that alt tag that the search engines are looking for. So from an editing standpoint, when you're in your editor, when you insert your image, you're going to move to the Advanced tab, and then you'll notice there's a tooltip field in there. Again, entering in that tooltip will, one, be that pop-up when a user hovers over the image, but two, it will add that alt text tag to the HTML or the coding so that the search engine can easily understand what the image is in regards to. The next thing you want to go into is in relation to hyperlinks. So you want to make sure you have descriptive hyperlinks, and this is really in relation to, in the past you might have had hyperlinks on your page and you might have just used the verbiage click here. You no longer want to use just click here as your text for your hyperlinks. Reason for that is search engines want to know what the click is going to be in reference to. So if I'm going to click on this link, what should I expect will happen? Am I going to go to a page on your website? Are you pushing me to another website across the internet? Is it going to open up a file? Whatever it may be, you want to be very descriptive in regards to the hyperlinked text itself. Within the example I have right now, the very last sentence, please visit our associate school page for more information. Associate school page is the hyperlink. It's very descriptive. I know that when I click on this link or this text, it will bring me to that associate school page. Search engines will also rank this hyperlink as being very descriptive because, again, it's telling the user where they're going to go. It sets the expectation. The link is going to go to the appropriate address that they're saying that they're going to be sending you to. Another thing that you want to take a look at from a design standpoint of your website is in regards to responsive design. So responsive design, again, for those that just want a little fresh feedback or information on responsive, allows your website to resize based upon the device that's being viewed. So whether you're accessing the website on desktop, on a laptop, a tablet, or a smartphone, essentially you have one version of your website, and that website will resize based upon the device I'm viewing. So I take a look at it from my smartphone or my desktop, I'll be able to see the same information. I'll be able to see the same website, but it will resize based upon that device that I'm viewing. From a search engine standpoint, back in 2015, Google set out that their algorithms would be taking a look at websites that were more mobile friendly, so the ability for a website to be accessible via a mobile device. Websites that were not optimized for mobile or did not have that kind of mobile feature or the ability for a user to find or use the website on a mobile device, Google was actually hurting their website, or they were actually penalizing their websites based upon the fact that it was not responsive or was not mobile optimized. So it's definitely something that you want to take a look at as well from a search engine standpoint. If your website does not have the capabilities of being responsive, one big impact is in regards to search engine optimization. Google themselves are kind of ranking websites based upon their mobile optimization. So the second thing we want to talk about today is first impressions. So users have gone to Google, they've typed in their keywords, they've found your website as a result within there, they've clicked on the link, they've arrived on your website homepage. What are the first impressions they're going to get? Are you essentially using the proper imagery, graphics, the content layout of the pages themselves? Are you conveying the right message to your members and your prospects? You want to ensure that you kind of know who you're targeting, know who you are, taking a look at your website now. There's potential for changes, kind of seeing where those changes may need to be. So, I mean, keep all the old historical information in a history page and really kind of identify your website with who you want to kind of come out to the club, whether it's the retired couples, whether we're taking a look at the young families, or even the recent empty nesters, or your young executives. You want to portray that imagery within your website itself. So no longer have images of just empty clubhouses or empty golf courses or empty kind of the grill room or whatever it may be. Make sure you actually have the proper imagery within your website itself. Really be able to convey that message to the prospect or the person that's coming to your website. Give them a real idea of how your club feel really is. So when you kind of, for example, you may have a member at the club, they may have a SLR or a nice camera, or you get a professional photographer to come out. They take all these pictures, they provide you the files, and you now want to upload them to your website. What we want to do is kind of give you some tips of what you want to do with the information that you've been provided or those files that you've been given. From a first impression standpoint, someone goes onto your website. If it takes a long time for your website to load, they're likely going to leave and not come back. So a couple of things we want to show you today that can improve the performance of your websites to ensure that web pages are loading fast and correctly. The first thing is going to be in regards to where you're uploading your information. We are finding that some clients are uploading their information into an area that could potentially slow down the performance of their websites. So what we want to do today is just show you where you actually want to upload your information and where you should not. So just bringing up our editor here. On the left-hand side, we have our content tree. So essentially on this demo website, it's going to list all the pages that we have within this site itself. You will notice the same thing within your own Clubhouse Online website. It lists all the pages you have created on your website itself. This area is an area that you also have the ability to upload files, but it's not the area that you want to do that. So if you're uploading PDFs or images, you do not want to upload them directly to the content tree. Reason for that is when your web page loads, what the internet is doing is it's loading the content tree of your website. So it's seeing how many pages you have on the website or how many files you have on this content tree. The more files you have, or if you happen to have files in this section, the slower it will be on your website. So the longer it will take for your web page to load. So from an administrative standpoint, what you want to do when you're uploading images or files, you want to make sure you're uploading them to your media libraries. So from your home dashboard, you'll notice there's a media libraries tile. That's the section where you want to upload all of your files. So within your site media, uploading all your files within there. When working on a web page itself, so you're in the editor, you want to add another image, for example, within the amenities page. You want to ensure that when you select the Insert Edit Image or Media option, you're not uploading the information into the Content tab, so you're not uploading it into this tab here. You want to ensure you're moving over to the Media Libraries tab and uploading that information within that section. Okay. A separate section, it's not going to be a load on your website when it's kind of loading on the internet, again, increasing the speed or performance of your site itself. The next thing is going to be in regards to the file size. So it's my second image here. I've circled two images that are 1.5 megabytes each. If you're going to get these really nice photography shots from my photographer, likely the file is going to be a very large file. You want to ensure that you resize your images prior to uploading them to the website. You do not want to use that raw file image because, again, it's likely going to be a very large file size. Larger the file size, the longer it will take for the web page to load. So that's one instance. Another reason that you want to resize your photos is from an optimization standpoint. So from a responsive website standpoint, let's just say, for example, you wanted to use an image on multiple sections of your website. So you want to use the image on a banner of one page, but then you want to also use that same image within the content area of another page. However, the dimensions are going to be different. So you're going to have a big banner image on the one page, but you're going to have a smaller version of that image within the content of your second page. What you actually want to do is you want to resize that image twice. You want to have a copy of that image for the banner, and then you want to have another copy of that image that you want to use in the content page. So you're not going to just upload one image and then go in the editor and resize it to wherever you need for it to be on your website. You actually want to resize it prior to uploading to your website so that, again, when they land on that page, they're getting the optimized version of that image. They're going to increase the performance of your page. It's going to speed up the way the page loads. They're not going to be uploading the original file size of that image, which could potentially, again, slow down the performance or speed of your website. Again, just from a first impression standpoint, a lot of people are viewing your website on a mobile device. Actually, 50% of our traffic, or almost 50% of our traffic for all of our Clubhouse Online websites are visited via a mobile device. You want to ensure that that experience from a mobile standpoint is very optimized, or they're kind of getting that optimal experience from a mobile device. Again, one way you can kind of achieve that is via a responsive website. So you can definitely do that within the design of a Clubhouse Online website. And it's not just a club standard. It's not something that we're just doing in the club industry. It is actually a web standard, making sure that websites are responsive. So you'll notice as you go across the internet, different websites you go to, they will use that responsive kind of platform or design to, again, ensure that when a user is visiting via a mobile device, they're getting the best kind of experience. So if you take a look at this example I have now, just of the Yahoo page, for example, the left is a desktop screenshot, and the right is from a mobile device view. So the layout, you can tell, is very different from one to the next. From a desktop standpoint, you definitely have more real estate or more room to work with. Mobile view, you have a lot smaller to kind of work with. So you'll notice the header across here that has the carousel. It no longer has the carousel within the mobile view. It just has the banner and then the ability just to maybe click on the image or scroll through with your finger to go to the next slide. They also stack all the stories vertically within the page themselves. Other websites out there, Best Buy, for example, does the exact same thing. They kind of change their design from desktop to a mobile view. Sports websites as well. So again, it's not just a club industry thing. It is across. It's a web standard now for websites to be responsive. So definitely from a first impression standpoint, if someone is going to, for example, ESPN from a mobile device, they get the information correctly. But now when they go to your club website and they're not getting the information to kind of resize, they'll notice that experience immediately, and it could potentially turn them off and maybe send them off away from your own Clubhouse Online website. So what we want to do now is just kind of show you an example of how the responsive actually works. So I just want to pull up a web page here and just show you from an example standpoint, just taking a look at the desktop version. So from taking a look at the desktop version, again, a lot of room to work with. You kind of get your information to lay out as you see it here. But when you move to a mobile device, for example, so let's just say, for example, I'm now moving to a mobile device, you'll see how the information kind of stacks within the mobile device itself. Okay, so you'll notice the design will change. If I actually show you another example here, within the kind of villa information, so we've got the different types of rates between summer and winter for different types of villas. If I now move to, for example, a tablet or an iPad view, you'll notice that the rates summer and winter on the desktop view were right beside each other. They were side by side. But when you move down to a tablet view, you get them to stack on top of each other. So because the width you have on a tablet is not as wide any longer, they've chosen to kind of change the layout a little bit differently here so that, again, when viewing from that smaller device, you're still getting a nice optimized kind of view. Even if I move now smaller to, for example, an iPhone view, that same rate information now, they're no longer side by side between the villas. They're actually just stacking on top of each other. So it definitely gives it a little bit of a different feel when you're moving from device to device. Okay, so now that they found your website, they've landed on your website, you've engaged their interest by the kind of graphics, the imagery, the layout of your pages. The next thing you want to do is ensure that your your website is actionable. So what we mean by that is that you have very eye-catching landing pages, you have calls to actions on your website, and you have web forms, or the ability to gain information from the user that's visiting your website. So we'll go through a couple of examples so I can explain to you what we mean by making it actionable. Our first example here is just of a landing page. So landing page has a really nice image that kind of scrolls through full width, kind of gets the attention of the user, has the ability for the user to kind of feel like they're in control of how they're going to navigate through the site. So towards the bottom here is an option to explore. They click on the link. They're brought down to another section of the web page. Not heavy on text, so again, has a lot of imagery, but gives them the ability to click on a link to read for more information. So they may take a look at this text here, but want to learn more information in regards to the club. They click on the link, and they're brought to, for example, another web page. They've also used some imagery for calls to action, so the 4 images at the bottom. As I hover over the images, you kind of get some animations that occur. But again, letting them know that if I click on this link here, I'm going to be brought to these specific pages within the site itself. The next page I want to show you also uses some good calls to action, and they use a different types of calls to action here on the page itself. So you'll notice we have these buttons. Again, they're hyperlink buttons. The hyperlink text, again, is very descriptive, so they're not just click here's. I know that if I click on this first link, I'm going to view an online menu, so it's likely going to bring me to another page within the website. That's going to bring me to an online menu, allows me to go through and make, again, my choices of what I want to take a look at on the website. So it allows the user to feel very in control of how they're going through the site itself. The next link, for example, I know it's going to download the menu, so it will be maybe a PDF version of that menu. I click on that link, and I know what I'm going to expect. They also use the calls to actions in regards to images. So image links, clicking on the links here will bring me to either the social or corporate event pages. Also the ability to submit an inquiry, so using online web forms. User clicks on this link here, they're brought to an online page that allows them to fill out information and submit. An administrator at your club would get that notification. All submissions are stored within the website database. You can definitely export them to Excel for further sorting and reporting. But again, allowing the user to kind of make their choices, to fill out a form, you as an administrator, again, getting that information instantaneously, and for all that information to be recorded and saved within your website database. The last example, just to kind of show a little bit more interaction, again, within the Contact Us page, they've added in a web form, so the ability not only for the user to call or email the club, but if they wanted to, they can also fill in a form to kind of, again, generate some instant submission information. They've included the Google map directly within the banner of the page itself, so it is actually an interactive map that can be interacted with on the web page itself, clicking on directions, entering in the address they're coming from to get directions to the club. So again, just making your website actionable, allow the user to feel like they're in control of how they're going through your website, limiting the way that they kind of have to find information, so making it very easy for them to find the information itself, not making it very complicated for the user when navigating through your website. Okay, so these again are just the examples that we just went through. The last thing that you want to do is in regards to cross-promotion. So are you utilizing different areas of your website to provide as much information as possible? This will more so be important for your return visitors, more so your members. When members are going to your website, they're likely going there for one thing and one thing only, potentially just going online to view and pay their statement, for example. They go online, they view their statement, and then they log out. Well, what you want to do is you want to put as much information on your website as possible in different areas of your website. Member Central or Member Home, very first page your members will go to after logging into your website. Utilize that real estate to, for example, cross-promote for different events or important information that you need to relay to your membership. In this case, there's a past Halloween event that occurred. They've used their member homepage to outline that information. Likely this image is also a hyperlink, so as a user or a member, I click on that image. It'll likely bring me to the calendar where that event is placed. I can then easily register for that event itself. Just going back to my previous example in regards to online statements, user logs into your website, they go to their online statement page, they click on Pay Now, they pay for their statement, and then they log out. You can also use this statement area as a place where you can create an online statement message. So you can definitely use this area to cross-promote as well. In this case, it's just a generic banner for events. Find out more. Again, it's likely going to be a clickable image. Click on the image. It'll bring me to the full calendar where I can now take a look and see what's upcoming at the club, register for an event from there, and hopefully come out to the club via that event I've registered. Same thing can be done in all of our modules. So online tea times, very first page, they go through steps 1, 2, 3. You can definitely use that area below to cross-promote. In this case, a Nine and Dine. Again, you want to link it to the appropriate page on your website where you may have a web form, or if you have it as a calendar event, link to that calendar event itself. Online court booking, very first page they get onto. When they choose the appropriate sport, they get onto an info page. Another area you have the ability to enter in information. So again, the ability to kind of use the website editor to enter in relevant information or important event information across different areas of your Clubhouse Online websites. So definitely a good way to kind of utilize your website to cross-promote and ensure your members are getting all the information or as much information when going to as little places on your website. So again, they may only go in to book a dining reservation. You want to give them information of, for example, maybe an upcoming golf tournament or a tennis tournament, whatever it may be. You want to use that area to kind of provide as much information as possible. Okay, so that sums up the 4 areas that we wanted to go through today. So again, the 4 keys to a successful website is search engine optimization, doing as much as you can possible to ensure that search engines can intelligently crawl through your website and find your website itself. So people are looking for keywords, and hopefully your website comes up as a result. If your website comes up as a result and they click on the link, they're going to be brought to your website. Second key, from a graphic standpoint or content design standpoint, first impressions. You want to catch the user's attention. When you've caught their attention and they're now going through your website, the third key, nice landing pages, good calls to actions, whether they're calls to actions to link to another page, maybe opening up a document, maybe opening up a form. You want to ensure you're capturing that information. Again, ability to kind of have that stored within your Clubhouse Online website. And last key, cross-promotion, again, utilizing different areas of your website to provide different relevant and important information to your members.